Hello and welcome to Leeds That Podcast. I'm James and I'm with Dara Cunningham.
Hello there.
We are here after the Etihad agony. Leeds arrived in Manchester on the back of a dreadful run, 7-8 now. But yeah, before we get into that, special thanks to Bass and Bly, sponsors of the podcast. They're back after all this time. Our our favourites. Keep them talking about it, Dara, because I'm actually looking for my Bass and Bly bit. Where the heck's it gone?
Well, what more could you say about Bass and Bly, the #1 photographic dealers in Harrogate? Great website, 10% discount, I believe. Or maybe
Yeah,
that's
there's
the wrong.
no. Yeah, that you're right. I can't find the image, so we'll have to live without it this week. But yeah, 10% off Black Friday on all used gear actually. And that's going to be extended until tomorrow night. It's supposed to run out today, but they're going to extend it for another day. So yeah, really good deal on bassandbly.com for any used stuff. Selling binoculars, spotting scopes, and cameras and all sorts of gear at the minute. So yeah, make sure you go there, or if you're in Harrogate, you go to 6 Beulah Street. So yes, Leeds United, doing it again, keeping all of our emotions very high and tumultuous. I'll tell you what. Yesterday, I was having a great day on Saturday. Went to Ellen Road for my nephew's birthday. It was nice to go to Ellen Road and not see, not see a game of football and just enjoy the stadium tour. And he was in his element. Absolutely loved it. Is an understatement. And he tried to answer every question the guy put out as well because he's Leeds obsessed. He knows his stats are ridiculous. He's supported the club for a year. He's like 9 years old, but he has read everything he can possibly read, and he was reading off stats about Billy Bremner and Reevy as well. So it's not just like current era. He's properly obsessed. So yeah, we had a great time. So, but apart from that, yeah, we had to come back and watch a game of football, and it was all changing the lineup. Dara, what were you thinking before?
Yeah, I think I texted you guys straight away and said I was disappointed not to see a back three. But I
Yeah.
was happy enough to see James and Nanto into the mix. So yeah, I guess the same thing I've been saying for a few weeks now, that I wanted to see a back three. I thought Man City was the perfect time to see it, and probably a little bit disappointed that he went ahead with the same formation, particularly given Longstaff is out for so long. I thought Longstaff and Stack are out. No problem putting your faith in Grue Voider. He's not let us down, but yeah, I just felt again maybe he was writing his own death knell here, that it was the same stuff again. Now, granted, I suppose the big one was he didn't play Aronson, wasn't it? And that's what we
Yeah.
that's what we championed. But on the flip side, had he played Harrison and Aronson from the start away at Man City, you could kind of understand it. So
Well, yeah.
I just didn't know what to make of it.
Yeah. I think I'll probably come into that, but there's you can't keep everyone happy, and you certainly can't keep Leeds United fans happy. And not that that's like negative against any of us, but I think we all kind of want the same things, but also want different things as well. And I suppose that's what keeps football interesting. And it didn't start off very well. 59 seconds in, and Nunes played Foden into volley. Dara, I know you were particularly disappointed with the defending on that, and it's what we've talked about in recent weeks around balls into the box, not covering your men. Biol, we gave a lot of stick for doing that at Forest. Obviously, that was a terrible performance overall, but that in particular stands out, and it just felt like the same again. So it was so frustrating to go 1-0 down in under a minute, because you just thought, oh, here we go. It's like it's going to be an onslaught now, and all the social media wild predictions of 10-0 to City, and everyone's nerves completely shattering. Like, oh God, is it going to happen? All the exaggerated laughs beforehand. It was a bit worrying when that went in.
Yeah, it was a scary time, all right. But I'll rewind it back again. I suppose one of the other omissions from the team was Gabby Goodmanson. And I
Mm.
think that was a little bit of a surprise. Although I would say he's not undroppable. Like, I do like him. I think he's been a really good signing. And for 10 million quid, I don't think we could have got anyone better. But, there obviously was the 50p head moment against Fulham. There's been the slip against Spurs, which cost us, and the slip last week, which cost us the free kick, which ultimately led to the goal. So he hasn't been flawless in his appearances whatsoever. So to see him being taken out for Justin Walt's a surprise. I wasn't too concerned about it. And actually proven right. Actually, I thought James Dawson had a really good game. But yes, Farke changed his entire left side, which would suggest that he is suggesting that the problem with goals coming down the left is a player problem. And I think we found out very quickly it's a systemic problem. There was absolutely no change to what happened. As you said, it's the same goal we've seen over and over again. And actually, I think I texted in a still frame of just as I think is it Nunez, but just as he hits the ball into Foden, I stopped it. And you can count 10 of the 11 Leeds players are in the box, and Foden still is unmarked. And that's terrible. Like, that's schoolboy stuff. That's midfielders not picking up, it's defenders not picking up. Who is doing what? That's a real concern. And the other issue was that Haaland was right behind him. So if Foden had missed it, Haaland would have got it. So you have 2 players unmarked in the box when there's 10 Leeds players in that box. So that was really, really bad defending. The worst possible start. And I also thought Perry was a bit far over as well, if I'm honest. I thought he was a bit too close to his near post. If you watch it back again, just watch his position. He's touched tight to the near post. And he doesn't need to be there, I don't think.
I think that's part of the problem as well with how unnerved he's making everyone at the minute, Perry, is you then sort of really analyse everything. And you watch for every little detail that might lead to some significant chance against us. He doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. Could have maybe done better on the goal. I don't know. It's more just defensive errors, wasn't it? But yeah, I think it's one of those where I'm not like Pep and Farke have like a big admiration for one another, don't they? And I don't know how and why that's come about, because didn't he ring him after the Arsenal game as well, Pep? And they were sort of embracing before the kickoff, and they obviously embraced at the end. And then Farke went on to have a moan about him as well. Well, not him in the press conference, but their ways, if you like, which we'll probably come on to. But yeah, we weren't really getting any chances in the first half, and it did feel all Man City, or City, as they would say. I don't know. And Foden was just looking really good, and which is annoying. I'm not used to him with his longer hair as well. His like straight little hairline he used to have. But he's such a good player. Like their team is ridiculous. Like he can just find space out of nothing, as he did later on as well. But he's such a great player and such a great side. And seeing Guardiola just makes me how different things could have been as well back in the day. So
yeah, I mean, it was Andreas Clavijo who told us that he was ready to sign. He was there. He wanted to come to Leeds. The paper was there. Everything was done. And last minute, Bielsa pulled the deal because he didn't want to block Pascal's route to the first team. Things could have been very different. I mean, Guardiola is essentially a world-class defender. And he popped up. Now, granted, we spotted that Phil Foden was offside in the lead up to that goal as well, which was very poor officiating from the referee. But as soon as it went to VAR, I kind of just, maybe it was resignation, because at that point, we weren't playing great and they were already 1-0 up, and you kind of thought, just give them the goal and get on with it. We know you're going to do it. It's Man City, against Leeds, newly promoted side. We're not getting this decision. Doesn't matter how offside or onside they are, they're getting the goal, so just give it to them. So that was the only bit of disappointment for me. But the other thing that I have to say again, Perry again, I know there's a potential foul on him. I get that. But it would have been a soft foul to give away. I think it would have been soft if it was given. And again, even just the trajectory of his punch, he's behind the guy's head as he goes to punch it. So unless the guy's head morphed into thin air and the ball came through, he was never getting there. Again, I just think when you got a keeper who's making these mistakes, or at least not doing the very basics, like either catching that cross or staying on his line, or one or the other, I think you're putting yourself on the back foot. And there's been a number of occasions now this season with regards to Perry where he hasn't done that, or he's cost us a goal. And I'm kind of done with him. I think I've seen enough to suggest that he's not of the standard we require. Yes, he made a few saves yesterday, but were any of them saves you wouldn't expect him to make? Like, if he let in any of those other chances that he saved, surely you'd be absolutely livid. So I don't think there's any saving grace from him. I haven't seen him make one good save yet.
It's so hard, isn't it, when new players come in because they have zero credit in the bank. So you immediately just go to scrutinize them, don't you? And ask questions about their capabilities. And I think that's what's sort of troubling me a bit at the minute, is that it was like, get Perry in, but for what? Like, Darlow was doing all right. He was playing really well. So surely instilling that idea that if you're playing well and you're contributing significantly to our points, wins, good performances, then you should stay in. I just don't know what sort of message it really sends. It's a weird one, but I think I don't want to get too much into the recruitment as well, but we always do. But I think one of the real big mishaps was not getting Melia out in summer as well, and freeing up some cash to do it in some way, to potentially get someone else in. From a PSR point of view, so it still baffles me that happened, but here we are anyway. That's less about the Man City game.
Well, I tell you what, it might not be such a big thing with Melia if he starts against Chelsea. And quite honestly, I know I'm going to... Please don't all everyone log off at the same time. I'm not championing Melia. I'm just saying I'm sick of Perry. If Melia started against Chelsea, I honestly would have no issue with it. I would have no issue with it. And to answer that question, Richard, absolutely. I mean, Ireland fan here, and I've seen Kelleher. He is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I think when you consider that Brentford paid 12 million for him and we paid 15 or 16 million for Perry, like, you have to look at that and go, there's a huge difference there. Now, I know Liverpool did Kelleher a favour due to length of service and stuff, and letting him go cheap to any club he wanted to. But yeah, we should have absolutely done everything we could to convince him that he should come to Leeds, because I honestly think we'd have 4 or 6 more points with a top keeper. He's not saving anything.
Yeah. Well, we should probably mention this, because I don't think you talked about it last week anyway, and we could probably mention it a little bit. Did you mention Troy Parrott on last week's podcast? I can't remember.
Not sure if I mentioned him on last week's podcast, but I've mentioned him a few times.
Yeah, I know you mentioned him in the summer, obviously, but then Troy Parrott in the international break was phenomenal, wasn't he? And it's like, these are the sort of players that we would love Leeds to have, wouldn't we? It's like bolster our attacking threat, but also attacking leadership as well. It'd just be class, wouldn't it? But here we are. Maybe there's an alternate universe where we sign both. I don't know.
It would be nice, but I mean, what you'd get from Troy Parrott is pretty much what you got from Dominic Calvert-Lewin in that second half. I thought Calvert-Lewin was absolutely brilliant, and I think it goes back to a point I made a few weeks ago, that we need a Nanto or a James or an Okafor or a DCL or a Nmecha to catch fire for 3 or 4 weeks, like the way when Nanto did it that first time he burst on the scene, because we're not too far from winning games. We're in the mix. We're close, and we just need that one thing to push us across the line. And if DCL plays the way he did against Man City, against any other team, I think he's going to dominate and create and score chances. I thought he was absolutely brilliant in the second half.
Yeah. Do we talk about the second goal? It's just annoying first half, wasn't it? It's like you go in you just go in 2-0 up, and you're like, oh God, how are we going to come back from this?
And they had the cigars out, like they were smiling in the pitch. You could tell this was a walk in the park for them. We were no threat. They had us on the ropes. It was kind of, you were thinking this could be 4, 5, 6, but either way, absolutely no danger. And then halftime came.
Halftime came. Some changes, morphing into a 3-5-2. Calvert-Lewin came on, and Jacobiol, Dan James off, and Gnonto. I didn't think Gnonto really did much in the first half. Seemed to lose the ball quite a lot. But what a difference! Like, we looked, I mean, like Foden said it in the post-match, that we changed system, and they kind of didn't really know what to do with it, which was brilliant. Like, this is like that was everything that we've been asking for weeks and months. Is just change the system, change it. If something's happening in the game and it's not working for you, just change it. And it's almost like, well, we've got nothing to lose, so let's just do it. But it's like, you don't have to feel like there's nothing left to lose and do it. Just do it. And yeah, it was brilliant to see, like, the interplay down the right-hand side was fantastic. And like you say, Calvert-Lewin came on and he was just a pest. He was like winning fouls in really awkward places for them, for us, sorry, but awkward for them. And he's just smart. He's like a smart player. He knows how to get us up the pitch effectively. He's like a proper gamesman. And winning the penalty was just brilliant. He got in front of it. Knew Guardiola was probably going to go for it, and he did. So yeah, just brilliant. Like you say, I think he was excellent. And one thing is, my nephew's not a huge fan of Calvert-Lewin. I said, I think he will score today. Like, and it's hard, isn't it, when you're young, because you expect strikers to score goals, and that's what you see their contribution to a football match. But I suppose the older you get, you sort of see the work rate and what they actually do to get a team moving and into good positions. So yeah, I'll stop waffling. I thought he had a great game.
He did. He was brilliant. But I mean, the big news was obviously the change of formation, and you see who's coming out. And in fairness, no disrespect to Dan James or Willie Nonto. Neither have played a lot of football for Leeds in the last while. James was okay, actually. He probably looked like a most likely outlet in the first half. There's rumours of another hamstring strain. And that's true. I think that's a big problem because he hasn't looked fully fit all season. I think he's looked like he's been carrying an injury. And if his hamstring is going again, I think that could really cost us this season with regards to Dan James, because you just kind of wonder when you're going to get him fit. But
that'll probably mean Joffrey comes back though, won't it?
Well, we'll talk about him a little bit later. I love the change. I just thought it was brave. I thought it was great, and it leaves me in this kind of limbo when it comes to Farke, because on one hand, I want to praise him for having the guts to do it and doing it so well. And on the other hand, I want to wring his neck and say, why haven't you done this previously?
Yeah.
And it goes back to something you just said there, like with regards to, backs to the wall and nothing to lose. I hope he learned from Emery last week that you don't have to do it just when you've nothing to lose. That, sometimes you just do it because it's the right thing to do. So perhaps he was a bit forced into it. And what we found with Farke is that over the years of having him as manager, sometimes when he has no other choice, he ends up doing the obvious thing that works really well in his favor. So it happened with Jorginho, when Jorginho was playing as a striker. Remember that? And he was forced. He had to play him as a 10. And then suddenly Georgie was a 10. Still a bit skeptical about that. Do you know what was last season? We called it out all season long, was Joe Rothwell. Joe Rothwell would not have gotten a game. Remember, we were saying, like, he's got to be this season's forgotten man. He's not getting a look in. Suddenly, Gruev and Ampadu go down injured. Rothwell comes in, and I thought he was excellent last season. I loved every bit of him. So again, perhaps it was that he was forced into the 3-5-2, but whatever it was, he was brave enough to finally make that decision, and it suits us so well. Everything we thought was right about the squad when we first saw that squad, and we're anticipating what we thought it would be like: big, strong, aggressive, defensive, but hitting on the counter attack in people's faces. And even without Longstaff and Stack, that has to be remembered, and away from home, that's our best away performance all season. My God, how good were we when we switched to 3 at the back? Bial looked like a different player. He was calm, composed. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was always an outlet there for people. Him and Stroke in particular, Stroke, great credit for Pocket and Haaland all game. But everyone else, even Ampadu, suddenly looked better. And we have to remember, the Welsh team play at 3 at the back. So the likes of Rodon, Ampadu and James will be very familiar with that system. James actually plays as an inverted winger for Wales in that position. He's not he's not far out wide. He's kind of like inside forward. So he's well used to that position, and there will be opportunities for him. If we maintain that 3-5-2, it brings other players into the equation. So the likes of Sebastian Bornau could be a player that you might see emerge and be useful. A player like Joel Peru could be another player who might emerge and be quite useful in the front two if we go down that route. The other one would be Okafor. Like, imagine Okafor as almost I won't say Pablo style, but certainly the Pablo role, where if you're playing a 3-5-2 and he's one of the two, but he has the freedom to drop into midfield or to pop up on the left, pop up on the right, he could be very dangerous in that. So I think what we're seeing is, finally, through hook or by crook, by mistake or by being forced to do it, we've stumbled upon our formation. And please, Daniel Farke, you have to stick with this. Whether it's the formation or the style, you have to stick with it.
Yeah, my head's in two different places with this because I think it's more just important to have variety rather than switching to a different system. It's like, well, how can we in games change and adapt if we need to? Because it sort of makes sense when you think, well, we haven't really changed how we play all season, and you think you have analysts at football clubs who watch all of our games and then go to the coaches and the players and play everything back and say, right, Leeds are going to play in this way. This is how we think you should play. When you create uncertainty about how you're going to set up and how you're going to play, how do they distill all those messages to those players? It's not as easy to say this is how they're going to play and this is how you should play against them. It's actually, we could play in a multiple of ways, and it keeps everyone guessing, their coaches, their team. So I think it's more about variety for me, and I think that's what we've needed, is just differences that we can change, whether it's in 15-minute spells, 5-minute spells, whatever. Just concentrate on what's happening in the game and adapt to it. So I think that's the thing for me that I liked more than anything, is that we adapted because it wasn't working, and we caused Man City tons of problems. We were brilliant. Like, Man City are one of the best teams in Europe, and they were struggling to cope with us. Donnarumma obviously went down for an injury. All their players ran over to the bench, and they spent an age there. Kind of getting I presume sort of tactical tweaks from Pep, and probably a big Pep talk as well. So yeah, that was a bit frustrating. Equally, you do what you can to win a game, don't you? I think you said that on Twitter, and it's gamesmanship, and that's what happens. It's like, how do we adapt to those situations, and do we need to do more of that? I don't know.
No, for once in your life, you're wrong. I didn't say that on Twitter. I have the complete opposite.
Who was
opinion
it?
to
Someone
that.
said it.
No, I
It
was
might have been Rocco.
disgusted. I was absolutely disgusted by it. It's cheating. It's cheating in the absolute highest sense of the word. So, as we know, I lecture in sports management over in University College Dublin, and I have to speak about every sport, because in my room of 70 students, I'll have people who are involved with basketball, cricket, badminton, tennis, football, every sport you can think of, boxing, all the sports. So you think about the rules, and the rules of each sport are designed specifically for that sport. And with regards to football, one of the big aspects of being a football player, when you cross that threshold, is that the manager no longer has control. It's over to the players, and the players have to figure things out for themselves. The manager, by essence, then has to try and get messages across the pitch, which is a challenge in and of itself. We do not have timeouts for exactly that reason. We have a half time, which allows for rest, and the managers have an opportunity to reset, as Daniel Farke did this week, as Unai Emery did the week before. So the idea that Man City, through Pep Guardiola, manufactured a timeout, I think it's absolute, and I'm trying my best not to curse here, it's absolute cheating. And anyone, and you see people out there saying, people they do this all the time. What are you moaning about? This is football. My backside, they do this all the time. This is exactly akin to Spygate for me. I see no difference. What was it they said about Spygate again? It wasn't in the spirit of the game. Yes, it's not breaking the rules, but it wasn't in the spirit of the game. If you had a problem with Spygate, you have to have a problem with this, because it's the same thing.
£200,000 fine.
It's manipulating the rules to gain an advantage. Maybe not breaking the rules, but I hate everything about it. If you want to have timeouts, do it, and we'll all complain and say, "Oh, the game's becoming too Americanized." Blah blah. Same people who'll say that won't complain when Guardiola does it. It made me sick. I was disgusted by it. I wish Ampadu had just gone over and stood in the middle of the mall and just done that. I really do. Hated it. But I tell you what, they were rattled, weren't they? And that's what I did like that part. I like the fact that they were rattled and they felt they had to do that.
Yeah, I teed you up for that because I thought you had written that, and also I teed you up to then be like, well, I completely disagree at the end of it because yeah, a bit manipulating. But no, I'm completely with you. I think it's a joke. And yeah, like you say, the main thing is it had them so rattled that they had to do that. And I really liked what Isaac Johnson said around the idea of, if that does happen in a game, there's almost like a point in the pitch that they can't go past to go to the bench to discuss. Put them in the centre circle, like a little holding pen. Why not? Can't go past that point. So yeah, I completely disagree. And I think there needs to be some sort of rule change or explicit rule about it. Let's say. Yeah, so we touched on the penalty and Guardiola's bad tackle on
There was
Calvert-Lewin.
some tackle. It was like Eric Cantona going into the Crystal Palace fans. It was mad.
I think he thought it was like okay, like genuinely thought it was okay because he got the ball, but it's like you can't throw everything in and foul him first to then get the ball. That's like not how it works. But I don't know if you saw as well before Nmecha stepped up to take the penalty. There was a little graph of where he shot previously, and the majority of them are in that corner, aren't they? So I think Donnarumma probably had done his homework and knew where he was going, and it was a great initial save. But he was alive to the rebound, which was fantastic. So yeah,
It wasn't a
I've
worse
skipped a
penalty
goal
either.
as well. I've skipped a goal here as well. Gone straight to penalty, haven't I?
Oh, you have, yeah. You skipped DCLs. Let's go to DCLs because actually that was a funny goal in and of itself. I mean, he gets the ball. The ball comes into him. He tries to do an L spin on it, which again, like people talk about Troy Parrott and the style of Troy Parrott. That's the type of style Troy Parrott would be. He wouldn't be holding it up. He'd be trying to get in behind and get a spin on the ball like that. Obviously, the ball drifts away from him, and somehow he gets a second bite of the cherry, which he tucks away very well because that was a finish. That wasn't a tackle. Like he knew exactly what he was doing. It was a really good finish into the bottom corner, and I think that set him up then to be an absolute menace then for the rest of that match. I thought he was excellent.
He's the thing I liked about DCL's goal and is, I trust him in the 6-yard box as well. It's outside of it that I have a few problems with him, but I think it's the fact that it was such a good, not poachy, but just really sort of predatorial goal, wasn't it? It's like wait for a little mistake and you'll get a chance, and he did. He did
Finish
just
on
that.
one touch.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we've said. Who was it? Ancelotti gave him that advice: finish on one touch, and in that season, he scored the most goals he's ever scored. So that is DCL to a T. So then, yeah, the penalty. Back to that. Oh, go on, sorry,
both of
mate.
his goals for us have been one touch, the header
Yeah.
and that. So long may that continue. But yeah, back to the penalty. I have to be honest, it wasn't a bad penalty, but I didn't think he was going to score it. I never had any faith that he was going to score it, and obviously got lucky with the rebound. But look, we'll take it. I'd rather have a lucky striker than a great one. You know what I mean? Well, maybe a great one. I'd rather have a lucky one than a good one.
Yeah.
And he was lucky last week when he hit off his shin and went in.
Yeah. I think we've got. Rocco said it last week as well. There's we have got two really good strikers. Like, what's DCL got? He's like 250 games under his belt now. Mecha's obviously had a bad injury record, but he was brilliant last week, which Rocco pointed out as well. Just does a really good job, and I think he'll get his moments and chances. And when he has had moments and chances, he's taken them. Goal at Forest was really good. Important goal, first game of the season against Everton as well, and yeah, just really good. They're doing the job on what we need, and I think it would have been a massive risk to carry on with some of the players we had, like Pat Bamford, obviously, and they are a big step up. So yeah, I'm happy with them. I think it's just getting us into places like with this 3-5-2 system where we're causing problems. Like Bogle down the right was brilliant again. Thought he had a great game, and yeah, Gruev. Someone said in the comments, didn't they? Who was that? Sorry, I've closed it.
It was Matt Leeds.
Yeah, Matt Leeds. Thought Gruev had a brilliant performance. He was my man of the match for me. He is underrated. I agree. I think he is very underrated.
He was good. He was good.
Yeah, so, then it was kind of, we were into the 90th minute, 10 minutes were added on, which was a heck of a lot of time. Where did the 10 minutes come from? I didn't, at the time, I was like, how was the 10 minutes?
Yeah, I felt the first half there was more stoppages. But then again, maybe it's Man City at home and they needed a goal, so they get 10 minutes. Before we get into the 90 minute, though, there was one other thing actually I thought was really impressive. Calvert-Lewin's turn around the halfway line where the ball was played into him and he kind of flicked it around the outside and spun and ran onto it and burst into their half. I thought that was excellent as well. A really lovely piece of forward play. And I think, as you were saying there about the kind of the two up front, you've got Peru there who could fit into that formation as well, and maybe would be great getting bits off Calvert-Lewin or Nmecha, particularly Calvert-Lewin. And then you've got Okafor who could come in there as well. And we've mentioned him already, but I might as well throw it in there. So Joffy again scored again at the weekend, the winner again. Yeah. So he's not just scoring goals, he's scoring important goals. So I think he's up there amongst the top one or two strikers in the whole of the championship. And for me, if you've loaned out a young player, even if you've written him off, but he completely turns it around and he becomes the hottest prospect in the Championship, you got to call him back, surely. Surely you've got
Yeah.
to call him back. And I think one of
Well,
Joffrey's problems at Leeds was that he wasn't the lone striker type player. I think he'd be fantastic in the front two.
yeah, it's one of those where if you were a scout at Leeds, you'd definitely be looking at him.
Would reverse that even a little bit more and say, if we were offered a 22-year-old striker from the Championship who scored 12 goals this season and is on fire for free, would you take him? Yeah, of course we would. Absolutely, of course we would.
Yeah, 100% you would. He's been so good, and that's the thing is if Dan James has got an injury, then it makes it easier for Joffrey to come back in, and probably he's having such a good time there and scoring for fun and getting loads of game time that it probably makes him feel a bit more confident about coming back if he does have an injury. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. And I think, like you said, Harry Wilson, you watched him yesterday and said he was brilliant. And does it make you think we'd go back in for him, or would you go back? Would you go for Joffrey? There's things for the club to think about.
I think when it comes to Wilson, I'd be surprised now if we get him. He's been absolutely brilliant for Fulham. I think they'd signed a couple of players and they thought he was surplus to requirements, but he's been actually one of their better players. And the goal he scored yesterday was absolutely fantastic. I'm not sure if people seen it. Basically, Vicario came miles out of his box, and he was almost on the about to take a throw in right beside Harry Wilson. Actually, was hugging the touchline. And as the ball comes to Wilson, it was like an in-swinger cross, but he just kicked it into the empty net from about 50 yards out with lots of curl and pace on it. It was just a stroke of genius, really. So, yeah, I think just that level of quality, I think we'd be doing well if we could get him. And I suppose I think the message I sent into the group last night was I was surprised, or with myself, that I turned my nose up at him at first. I thought he was a bang average kind of player, but he's certainly having a very, very good season. So, yeah, look, if we can get him, great. If not, I'll definitely have Joffrey back.
Yeah, someone's made a comment about Joffrey. Who is it? David Thornton again. Joffrey never got a decent chance to play within a strong starting 11. It was always in much changed teams in cup games. Another good player who the club have miscoached. Yeah,
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Most of the time Joffrey played was the Hail Mary, last 10 minutes, no formation. But I think regardless,
even in the Premier League, in the Premier League when he was there, he was always there, and it was because I think the fans just thought he was going to be the next wonder kid. That it was like, I get Joffrey on, he could. And to be fair, against Norwich and games, he was creating stuff and helping us. So.
That's a great point, actually, because players do mature at a different rate, and even if we think he should have matured 3 years ago and we're ready to write him off now, that doesn't mean that he can't mature now and be Premier League standard. So I think over the while I've been championing Joffrey, and I've seen a good few people come back and say he's not Premier League standard, forget about it. But if you're at the top of the Championship, you're Premier League standard. Like that's kind of how it works. There's plenty of players at the top of the Premier League or top of the Championship who've done well in the Premier League. And I think his style and his even his physicality would make a good foil within the Premier League. So, but to be honest, the other thing is finishing. He just looks so clinical. Like go anyone who doubts me, go and have a look at all his goals this season. Probably take about 2-minute compilation. I'm sure there's one on YouTube. He's just clinical. He's bottom corner, bottom corner, bottom corner. He's just chip it over the keeper. It's like when he gets into those positions now, he's so confident. He knows exactly what he's going to do, and he's cold as ice. I really think bring him into the Premier League and give him half a chance, and I think you'll bury it because he just looks to be so clinical at the moment, and that's what we need.
I went to Thorpe Arch a couple of seasons ago, and I played football with Nyonto, Joffrey, and Sam Greenwood, and we were trying to do Yeboah type volleys. There's a video of it's a Socios video that's probably on YouTube, and he was just so good, like such a nice lad, but just brilliant with a volley as well. Nyonto was very good as well, but. Yeah, I'd love to see him come back. I just don't want, more so because I don't want Leeds to be the ones that fumbled an absolutely class player if he turns out to be. All these other clubs that are so good at making the best of what they have in their overall squad and at the right time sending them out on loan to develop to then come back and then kick on. It's like it would be very Leeds if he was sent out on loan and then just disappeared. It's like this is what we should be doing when we're in the Premier League, is getting players to have the right experience, then come back and really help and support us. So. Yeah. It wasn't meant to be. Foden obviously scored that goal late on as well. Really good. We were talking before, weren't we? How good Foden is, and just that turn on the edge of the box creates a bit of space for his left foot. Perry's got no chance, but just a class player, like devastatingly good. And and then it was kind of all over from there. But we still kept going and still kept pushing at them. And I was really proud and encouraged by the performance more than anything. And I know there's so much talk about Farke out, and everyone's opinions are quite clear on there if you go on social media. And I get it. And like I'm one of those that questions it a lot. But one of those, like you said right at the start, Dara, where you perform like that and you change things up to exactly what the fans have wanted. It's kind of like, like, what do we do? Like, where are we? And it's tough. But I think, we always knew it was going to be hard. We're in and around the bottom three. 2 teams above us with 1 point difference. Then there's a bit of a gap by about 6 points, isn't there? So we just got to start picking some points up from somewhere. And I don't know when it's going to happen, but we need them very soon.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it as well. Is we probably do have to recognise that although it was a good second half away performance, it is still 2 performances in a row where we've played okay and come away with 0 points, and unfortunately, that's what gets you relegated.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we've stumbled upon something that, if it's not even specifically the formation, although I do think the formation, I'd like to stick with it. I agree with your point. I think we should adopt our formation and tactics for every team, because that's what we have to do when you're the underdog, and you need to be clever with regards to this. But if even that principle of being defensive, aggressive, knocking it over the top, getting in people's faces, that's the way we started the season. That's what we've recruited for. I think that's the way we should play. I do think the 3-5-2 suits us in terms of the recruitment. I think it gives us much more options. Yes, maybe James and Nanto suffer a little bit in that formation, but Leeds, I think, could be better off. And I still think they can adapt to that formation. But I think for me, with regards to Farke, I was just about on the edge with him. I just about had enough. I was ready to say, like, look, we need to move on from this. And then he pulls that out. And I kind of go, I want him to succeed so much that I guess I've taken my finger off the trigger, right? So if I was about to pull the trigger on his sacking, I've taken.
You've turned it into a pistol whip. You've turned it the other way.
No, the gun's still loaded, but I think it's very much now in his hands.
Yeah.
And if this is not the epiphany that he needs to reshape how he's going to approach the rest of the season, and he goes back to the tippy-tappy, slow, no tempo, 4-3-3.
Yeah.
I think if he goes back to that, then he's only got himself to blame, and he's going to get himself to sack. I don't think the recruitment has been what it should have been. I think we have left him short, but I think he has enough tools, and we have enough tools, and I do think West Ham are awful. I know they've got 7 points in the last 9 before today. They are awful. Like, they were so lucky to get any of those points. So I think there is an opportunity there for us, but Farke has to now adapt and make this work. And as he must have been toying with the idea of the 3-5-2 before the match, because you don't just invent that at halftime. He must have been toying with the idea of.
Well, they'd have to be coached into it and trained into it as well, wouldn't they, to be ready for it? So,
exactly. And I think where I am afraid for him is that his own cautious approach is obviously what plays Brendan Aronson every week, because he's thinking, I can't play someone else, because if I do, we might get caught, we might concede goals. And obviously last week or yesterday, he's looking at Man City and he's going, I really want to change formation, but I can't, because we might get caught. Daniel, stop being so cautious. You have to be brave now. Now is the time to be brave. You're seeing other managers do it to you with early substitutions, changes in tactics, changes in formations, and it works. You've just done it and it's worked.
Back yourself.
You have to keep doing it.
I think that's the thing, is like, we've seen it now, and it should hopefully just get people off his back a little bit, having a good performance, hopefully, and just start backing him for the time being. You know,
Well,
because we're going to go to Ellen Road and people will back the team, won't they? And they'll back him because you want a victory out of it. So that's what I mean by backing. And I think, there's no one's going to believe in you as much as yourself, so he has to do it.
but he has to give us something to back. You
Yeah,
know, like
yeah,
he
100%.
has to now make the right calls. I mean, if
Yeah,
you
100%.
rock up to Ellen Road this week against Chelsea and you see 4-3-3 with Aronson on the right hand side because James is injured and we get beaten, you know, the
Yeah,
blueprint is there. You know,
yeah,
we're missing Longstaff, we're missing Stack. Gruev came in, had a good game. He did have a good game, but you've got All there now who was clearly shown against the best of the best that he's absolutely fine at that level. I think it suited Stroke and Rodon. Rodon was able to use his pace to back up Bogle. You know, you get Bogle the chance to roam free. Pascal can dribble the ball out and take it out again. I think Gabby Goodmanson as a wing back could be very, very good as well with Stroud covering in behind. So I think it's all there. And Farke just has to trust himself now and take that little bit of a risk. Because if he doesn't, and if he reverts back to being his old risk averse self, I think all bets are off, Daniel. I'm sorry. Because if you're not going to do it, someone else is going to do it.
it is time, Dara.
There's just
for your
one more thing.
One more thing. Okay, so it was going to be Joffy, but we got that in. We got that in early. So one more thing is Alfie, not Alfie, Erling Haaland.
I almost said Alfie. I was going to tee this up and say Alfie. Yeah.
I used to have my brother Steve used to have a dog called Alfie. After Alfie Haaland. It was a little West
Nice.
Highland boy. I had Chappie. We had Sheridan before that. Wilco. We had Wilco.
You have Mark Beanie.
I've actually met a woman in the park today. My little 2-year-old went over to pet her dog. He was only 3 months old. And I said, "What's his name?" And she goes, "Lucas." And I went, "Oh, there you go. He's named after Lucas Radamy." Or Nmecha, who scored yesterday. I think she looked at me like, "What the hell is this guy talking?" Anyway, sorry. One more thing. Erling Haaland doing the Leeds salute to the Leeds fans. I think we've got to make a bigger deal out of Erling Haaland, right? So he's clearly a massive Leeds fan. He's the biggest and best player in the world right now. And he's doing Leeds salutes to Leeds fans. As far as I know as well, he's the only player to ever score a goal and not celebrate against a team he has no affiliation with. Like, some people score a goal, they don't celebrate against old teams. He's never played for us. So when he didn't celebrate that goal for us against us last time we went down, I was just in awe of the man. He grabbed Stuart Dallas after Norway played Northern Ireland and whispered marching on together into his ear. He's really close mates with Calvin Phillips because he talks about Leeds all the time. We need to be singing "Your Leeds and you know you are" or something. We got to invent a song.
They probably were, weren't they? Yeah.
We got to figure something out though. When he comes to Ellen Road, and we maybe push this on the podcast, there has to be a jokey play between us and Erling Haaland, because I honestly believe in my heart of hearts there's an opportunity when he's old or whatever it might be to get him to come to Leeds. And by that time, he's going to be an absolute legend. He's going to be a Messi or Ronaldo. And we've missed out on, we missed out on Maradona under Wilco. So maybe there's a chance to get Haaland at some point in the future. And if there is, I think we got to start that little jokey thing with him now about him being Leeds, because he bloody is Leeds. He's as Leeds as any of us.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely a massive Leeds fan. I mean, I'd take him at Leeds even if he's 55 years old. To be honest, he'll still be good at that age. Let's be honest. Right, cool. Well, Chelsea. Oh God, they're like thick and fast at the minute. I'll tell you what, though, I am glad that we're into this period of post internationals and then just having straight run of games. Like now into January is like looking good, isn't it? So really glad to be back at Ellen Road, 2 on the bounce as well. Everton, Liverpool. So Everton, Chelsea, Liverpool. Can't wait for Wednesday night. And under the lights, Ellen Road is amazing. Really tough match, but we'll just have to hold on and see what happens. See if we play a 3-5-2. But yeah, I suspect Farke's probably into last chance saloon. Not last chance, but this sort of run. They've got to be asking questions, aren't they? If we go on an 8 or 9 game defeats. So yeah, hopefully we see a different or the same team that came out at halftime against Man City on Wednesday, and we get some points out of the game.
And possibly Meslier in goal. You know, he was on the bench yesterday instead of Darlow. The ultimate story arc, wouldn't it? Like redemption arc. It would be absolutely unreal. But I think
the amount of heads that'll wobble.
Earlier, if Meslier was playing the way Perry is, there'd be absolute uproar. I don't think he's any worse.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree. So yeah, enjoy it. We'll be back soon. I don't know if we'll be back before the Liverpool game. We'll weigh it up between us. It's always difficult when fixtures are quite tight together. But yeah, have a look out on socials, and or if you hit subscribe, like, and all that stuff, you'll get a notification if it comes on. So
yes,
done
please
the bit,
do like
Dara.
and subscribe.
Done the bit. So yeah, special thanks to everyone who's tuned in on the live stream. Much appreciated. And yeah, leave some comments on Spotify. I reply to all of them if anyone responds. So yeah, just go on there, send us a message, and I'll get back to you. But yeah, thanks a lot, everyone. Have a good week, and let's hopefully we get some points against Chelsea. Cheers.